What is good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Bird Flock podcast. We have another returning guest this week, the starting center for your Grey Cup champ Montreal Alouettes, Justin Lawrence. Justin, how are we feeling?
Hey man, I'm feeling good. Gonna end the season any better. So, I'm riding this hot streak while I can.
Yeah, we spoke to your quarterback a few days ago, and the first question we asked him was, "How has life changed over the last few months for you?" I guess it's not much since this is the usual in the off season for you now. You just win championships, hang out for a few months, then get back to work. But how has the off season been since being champ?
It's been good, man. Like you said, it's always a lot better when you head into the off season and you just won the Grey Cup because I feel like you truly get to enjoy the off season. There's not that like most, when you kind of have a losing season, you get beat out, say in the playoffs, or if you don't even make it. It's kind of like that little bit of like grieving period. We're like, damn, like so close. So winning it and heading into the off season is so great. You go back home and you get to celebrate with friends and family, and it's just really cool to be a part of, talking about and reliving the moments. So it's been awesome though. But just being back in general, getting kind of the off season started has been really fun. I miss being around my family and my friends. As much as I love being in Montreal, spending with the fans and with my teammates, it's always nice to be home.
For sure, for sure. I feel you. And then another huge part of your offseason came right after the Grey Cup when you got engaged to your longtime girlfriend. Was that contingent on the win? Did you think you had to win for her to say yes, or was that happening either way?
No, it wasn't contingent on the win, but winning definitely helped make it a lot more special. I know I was talking with her after. I think her and her sister definitely really thought I was gonna do it during a game, probably, and I was just like, I can't. I feel like it's bad juju to go into a game and know I'm gonna propose because if you lose it, I just don't know if I could do it honestly. So yeah, definitely again proposing was a lot better after winning it because like you said, I went into the off season real happy, and it only really happened like I think like a week and a half after we won it. So yeah, it was definitely special.
Yeah, you touched on it. Dawson touched on it. You just keep winning these things, man. And there's 3 teams and 3 rings. You said it's always sweet, but do they get sweeter every time you win or what?
They really do, and like honestly, the cool part about it is like each one kind of tells their own story, and that's the thing that's so unique about it. Like to be honest with you, I feel like this whole year in Montreal was a little bit of a fairy tale. From the start of the year, signing here. Honestly, I wouldn't sign with any team, and I think when I talked to you guys, I signed knowing that it was a promising team, and there was a lot of really solid pieces here. And I wouldn't sign them with the team unless they had those pieces around. So, coming in and, seeing honestly the level of disrespect from, some of the people in the league, ranking us as the 9th ranked team in the preseason, just really, the story of, Moss, Fajardo, all those guys who were kind of outcast the team and stuff like that, to come in, man, and go through the adversity. We really we played the season. Honestly, I think we had one win over a team that was over 500. And adding some of those key pieces at the end of the year and hitting the stride that we did, and how close our locker room got. Like I've never been a part of a team that was as close as we were, and it like so cool and so unique to be a part of. So to go on the stretch that we did, and the big win in Toronto there, carry that momentum right into the Grey Cup, and to have as close of a game as it was, and to basically score that touchdown from Cody to Phil Pop with 11 seconds left, man, like what a year. So honestly, every single year is special, and I don't take it for granted because, like you said, man, it's an unbelievable feeling to win a Grey Cup. So, and they each have their own stories. It's not like they get mixed together.
Yeah, and you just touched on the stretch and how it was, and you guys right before that stretch you went on when Sankey said, we're not going to lose again. You guys, I think it was right before you had dropped those 4 in a row, and everyone was kind of panicking or whatever. Being a guy that had just come off a Grey Cup win and had been there multiple times, how much were you relied on in the room to, carry the team and get them back there?
Yeah. Well, I feel like I carry like an energy when I go to a team, and honestly, that's something I try to pride myself on. Is I feel like I love the grind, but at the end of the day, and I think why I fit so well into this locker room is I love the grind, but I also love to enjoy the people around me. And I think what I kind of carried into especially our O-line room and our locker room in general was just someone who, very even keel most of the time. I try not to get too worked up over a situation. So, I like we said, we were going through those winning streak or those losing streaks, the winning streaks, everything throughout the year. And, I think the biggest thing I kind of brought to the team was just like, being through that position before and just being like, all right, all we got to do is every time I talk to the guys after the losing streak we were on, I was like, man, all we got to do is hit our stride at the end of the year, and we'll be perfectly good. Like we stepped on our own foot so many times in games where we lost last minute, and I was just like, we cleaned up some of this little stuff. Like we're gonna be an elite team, and we turned out to be that way. So I feel like you said, just keeping it even keel and just being like, all right, like we're so close. We just got to punch through that wall and really hammer this thing home.
Yeah, 100%. I think for a lot of fans and Shane and I in particular, the big turning point of the season was, bringing in Sean Lemon, bringing in Darnell Sankey. They obviously had a huge impact on everything. Being on the other side of the ball as you, it's kind of a two-part question. I know you play center, so you're not really matching up against either of them much, but how much harder did practice get once they showed up? And did you actually feel that energy that they brought from the other side of the ball? Like, did it make its way through the whole team?
Yeah, I definitely did, and I feel like the first impact on it. Like, and the cool thing about it is I played both those guys before in Calgary. I spent a year with Sankey and a year with Lemon. So getting to know those guys, like from day one when they stepped into the locker room, it was just the vibe they bring in, just their character. Knowing Sankey, Sankey's a very outspoken guy who's always had a positive outlook on things. Lemon comes in with such a wide range of experience with different teams, winning cultures and stuff like that. So I feel like they made an impact right away from day one when they walked into the locker room. And then once we got on the practice field, like you said, I didn't necessarily get to take much reps against Lemon, but you see the energy he carries in practice, the way he goes about it. And, it's some of the little details of, anytime he was going against some of our tackles, he'd be like, all right, like, and he knows who that tackle is going up against that week. So he's giving the tackles the looks that they're going to get while expending his arsenal of moves, which is really cool. And then, practicing against a guy like Sankey, you definitely see the level of talent that he has, man. And there's a reason why he's obviously he'd played a full season. I'm pretty sure he probably would have led the league in tackles, but why he's led the league before in tackles, because he's just a savvy player, knows how to shed blocks and reads the plays really well. So you definitely noticed it right on the field right away and also in the locker room.
Yeah, I think you could also say throughout the year, the O-line was the group that I would say personally improved the most. I think heading into week, 1, 2, 3, 4, there was a lot of talk about, the struggles of protecting the quarterback, things like that. As a former O-line, I was like, okay, that's bullshit. Like, whatever, you know.
Yeah.
But for you, did it take you guys? Do you feel like it took you guys a little time to gel together? That snuck its way into the regular season, or was it just a matter of getting your foot in just in general to start the year?
Yeah, I think anytime you got new pieces in an offense, like you said, like it's a new playbook, new quarterback. For me, coming into O line, a new player, like it just takes a little bit of time to work things out and get used to everything. So I feel like early on in the year, it was just us kind of going through some growing pains, honestly, and you know it's one of those things. That's kind of the beauty part about football is you got for us 21 weeks to get better, right? And the thing is, like we went into it, and Moss did a great job of taking a lot of the pressure off us those early weeks because, like you said, the media was kind of pretty hot after the O line and Cody and all the things that followed in that. So Moss, he's always been so good about that. He always has our back, but we really showed us that he was going to take the fall for us, let us improve and figure out some of the stuff. And definitely, I thought by the end of the year, and we really kind of figured it out, really started to get super close as a group. And that's the beautiful part about it is once everyone starts to gel, it's really kind of a smooth operating machine.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
And I think, oh, sorry, go ahead, Jen. No, go ahead.
I just want to talk about obviously the coach of your unit and LBJ, and he's obviously been there before in Montreal and everything. How much did his experience help you guys to gel over the long season?
Yeah, it definitely helped. Anyone who's met Luke before knows how great of a guy this guy is. He is hilarious. Like absolutely, like everyone knows the legacy. And I hadn't really quite realized that until I got to Montreal. I'd heard stories about Luke and, you know, how well respected he was, of course. But being around him and the amount of people that come up to him and just look up to this guy and the legacy he left as a player was super cool to be around. But I can kind of see why, honestly. Like you know, you spend the whole year with those guys in the meeting room, and the cool thing about it is Luke's about getting business done, but he's also about making sure like we're as close as possible and we're like really appreciating the friendship we have in that O-line room. Cause like you said, we work hard, but we have a good time doing it. So being around Luke was awesome, man. And for me as a center coming into that situation, being coached by that guy who just, you know, freshly retired, really cool for me because I learned a lot of stuff this year that kind of helped me along the way as well.
Yeah, and I think it looks like based on, you know, we said it to Cody, but Danny Machocha's basically been working 24-hour shifts here, re-signing guys and bringing all the boys back. But it looks like for the most part, the starting group, with the exception of maybe a guy or two, is coming back for the 2024 season. How exciting is that for you to be able to run it back with these guys that you obviously, like you said before, built such a huge, great relationship with?
It's so exciting. And honestly, that was, you know, for me, even to get the extension done this year, it was like kind of a no-brainer for me. You know, a lot of those key pieces, the guys that like I got to be around and really see why it was a winning locker room. Because like you said, you can have as talented players as possible, but if you don't have the culture and the characters in the room, you're never going to be able to do it. So to see so many of the key pieces from that team that just won, resign, and want to be there for, you know, the next couple of years to see what we can do, it was kind of a no-brainer for me to come back. And so, you know, seeing those guys, and for me, like this would be my first time returning to the same locker room in pretty much 2 years. So I'm super excited about that because I like probably the first year I've really built a genuine connection with pretty much every single person on the team. And that's like I said, that's a courtesy of Coach Mosser and everything he implements into a team. But shit, I was, you know, talking to guys at the end of the year, and I'd go up to a defensive back and basically talk to him like he's my best friend. Like you said, talk to him as if he's an O lineman. You know, usually your O linemen are super close, and that's just kind of a God given thing. But for me, I could go up to a wide receiver, a DB, a D lineman, a linebacker, and be able to have a real conversation with those guys and know a lot about them. So I'm looking so forward to this year, man, and getting back to camp and being around those guys is gonna be so much fun.
Yeah, the guy sitting next to you and playing next to you kind of the whole year and will probably be again this whole year. Christian Matt, he finally did it. He finally got his Grey Cup. I think there was a lot of
Yep.
speculation he was going to retire or whatever. I'm sure you talked to him a bunch. Was there any surprise to you that he came back for a year? I think it's what, 15?
Not at all, man. You know, I think everyone like at the start of the year when Christian was coming in was kind of like, oh, you know, maybe it's his last year. Like he's been around for a long time, and I think he honestly thought that way too. But once we kind of got rolling, like honestly, man, this guy plays like he's 26 years old. It's crazy to see. But sometimes, you know, we're in there watching film, watching games, watching practices, and this guy's doing stuff that, you know, you just don't see from every other person. And you know, I always joke about it with him. I'm like, damn, man, you really moving like a young buck out there. Like I thought you were supposed to be one of the older guys. Um, and like, you know, for him too, like he dressed every single game this year. And to do that at his age, man, like I knew he had some in the tank because I feel like football is one of those things you kind of gradually get pushed out if your body's not letting you. But man, his body let him, and like I said, I was so happy to see him sign back because as good as he is on the football field, he's a hell of a locker room presence and great for the O-line room. So about as good of a vet as you can ever have.
Yeah, that leaned into my next question is how much did he help you get used to coming into Montreal and him being here, obviously, throughout his whole career and being from here? How much did he help you off the field, not just on the field?
Yeah, he owed me a lot. You know, I kind of got to know Christian a little bit during camp. You know, you kind of figuring stuff out and getting to know the guys a little bit. But you know, once we got into the regular season, we got, you know, set up at Olympic Stadium there. Me and Christian ended up sitting beside each other in our O-line room, so I got to know him super well. And the nice thing about it is he's like you meet some guys and like there's so many different characters, but you a lot of times I know, especially back in the day a little bit, you'd come in and usually vets would be very, very petty towards like younger guys and stuff like that or new players. But man, like came in from day one and this guy was just so welcoming and just so open to trying stuff because I know for a fact for a guy that's played as long as him, you get used to certain things and different players, and because like you said, not every single person he plays beside is the exact same. Like I'm not going to be the same as that other three centers he might have played with, right? So for him to be able to get used to me and like how I go about things, he was so easily adapted to it, and honestly, it made my life a lot easier because if I ever had questions, I just ask him, and he was quick to answer and help me out in any way he can. So, like I said, honestly, the perfect vet, and like you said, he would have been a great guy. Like I'm excited for the young guys that to get to come into camp and be around him because can't really ask for much better as a young guy coming in to learn from an example like that.
Yeah, I'm sure there was also a lot of off the field stuff of just getting used to the city of Montreal that he was able to kind of guide you along with. But no secret, O-line like to eat, O-line like to go out for some big meals. What was some of the special moments off the field in the restaurant, whether it's after the Grey Cup? I saw you guys ate a poutine out of the Grey Cup a few times. What was that like? What was anything that stood out really throughout the year?
Yeah, the food culture was amazing in Montreal. Honestly, the hardest part for me, and it's a little bit of a kick in the butt for me to learn some more French, but it was such a big transition, going to the city of Montreal because I was right downtown, and although like everyone spoke English, so it was really easy for me on that side. Going into a new restaurant or a new fast food place was like super difficult because the menus are in French. So I'm sitting there with my phone. I got the Google Translate app out. I'm like literally trying to translate stuff, figure stuff out. So that was a big transition. But man, throughout the year, I got some great recommendations. Got some good food spots. By the end of the year, we were going to I think it's Brass Door on what's that? Not Mackay. I forget what it is. What's the bump tree on St. Cat's there? With all the food spots. I've been there for a little bit.
Let me see. It's on Crescent.
Crescent, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
We found a wing spot on Crescent. I think it was a Brass Door.
Mm-hmm.
And so like we started out beginning of the year. There was like a couple of us going for wings, like 3 or 4 of us, and then by the end of the year, every single Wednesday we had like a group of like 20, 25 guys going. So that was really cool part was like we built this like culture. We all just went and got wings together, and just a random bunch of guys just sort of like getting together, and so that was pretty cool. The food culture was good, and people took really good care of us all the time, which was super nice.
Who on the O-line could put back the most wings at once in one sitting?
Oh, man, that's a great question. Honestly, I think it's a 2-person competition. I think it would probably be between Jamar and Nick
I knew
Allen,
it.
2 tackles.
I knew it.
It's like I feel like you expect it from Jamar because Jamar's so big.
He's 8 feet tall, yeah.
But like Nick's got that like sneaky he's he's way heavier than he looks. Like just carries it so well. But the dude's an absolute monster. So I feel like between those two, I kind of want to honestly. I'm not gonna put Jamar down, but I think Nick's got the edge. I just feel like Nick's like a sleepy good eater. So I feel like he could put some wings back.
Yo, I talked to like Jamar last week, and he said he loves the food in Montreal, and I know him and Dawson talk about restaurants all the time. So if ever you need more recommendations, you might have to ask Jamar for some more recommendations, bro.
Yeah, well, for sure, man. Like honestly, that was the thing. I tried to. I had a list from even like you guys. I messaged you a couple of times and tried out some of the food spots as much as I could within the area. So always looking for food recommendations in Montreal because, like I said, I know there's some hidden gems.
Yeah, it's definitely spots all over the place. But I want to throw it back a little bit last year. I think on our first time we met, the first episode we had, pretty sure you said you wanted to finish your career out here in Montreal. At the parade, I heard you saying that again. You came out, you signed your extension. You got it done rather quickly. Aside from the Grey Cup, obviously, what about Montreal made you want to sign that extension really quickly?
You go into a place and you can really tell if somewhere could just feels like home. And like you said, part of it was getting here, getting in. Just like you said, we spent our training camp in 12 Riviere, so getting there and getting to meet the guys mostly is just like the locker room. I really fell in love with right away, which was good. Went into the season, and then once I got to finally start to experience Montreal game days, being around some of the fans, the post game field sessions where everyone's out there. It was just like, dude, it was so special to me. Like just seeing the support we had, and I think what really rid it home, and honestly, like why I was so passionate about talking about it on the parade was, that's still incredible to me. We won the Grey Cup on Sunday night. We held the parade Wednesday afternoon, I think at like noon or something like that. It snowed that morning. Wasn't really the nicest to begin, and like we stepped out, got on the floats, and started driving, and just see the amount of people that were out there supporting us, and like it's still so cool to me. I remember looking back at the buses that were following us, and you just see like a swarm of people as far as the eye can see. No streets showing, just people walking. And then to get on stage and see everyone there, and like to me that just really rings home like how much they really care about us, and how much they care about the winning culture, which I think everyone wants. So to me, it's like it's one of those things. I've been looking for a home where I can call for the rest of my career. Hopefully, that's the thing I want, and that's what I always talked about with Danny and Jason Moss. Like I want to find a home, and I want to find a place where people will accept me, and we can really make something special. And hopefully, like I said, the extension was a big part of me committing to that and being a part of this process. But like I said, everyone's been so great to me out in Montreal and been treated so very well. And like honestly, it makes sense for me to stay here and no reason to ever leave. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, so now that we talked about how great the fans are, I'm definitely clipping that. We're going to use that for free agency episodes and stuff. Free agency is right around the corner. Obviously, no matter how hard you try, no team's always going to be the same year in, year out. Obviously, a bunch of
Yep.
your big names are obviously running it back. I think it was yesterday, big news came out. Unfortunately, one of the biggest names is not coming back. But Cody said to us last week that Danny Mac has kind of approached him about signing different free agents and how he feels about them. So have you started putting on your recruiting hat yet and talking to free agent guys that you kind of know, trying to bring them over to Montreal?
Yeah, absolutely I will. And honestly, like the cool thing about it, man, is like when I think like, some of the videos of us like preparing for the Grey Cup, and some of the videos of us playing pickleball in the locker room, honestly, it's not even as much about us pushing it anymore. It's like, guys are just seeing the videos of that stuff. And I think people are really starting to like realize that like we have something special this year, and like we built something special this year. So I think a lot of guys are seeing that, and they want to be a part of that, because so many of these guys have been in different locker rooms, no matter what level it is, U Sport, Division One, anything like that, and they know a winning locker room when they see one. And I think a lot of his people just seen that and be like, man, that looks like a lot of fun to be a part of. So, if they ever say that, like I said, I've had guys messaging me and be like, man, like how was it in Montreal? I'm like, I'll tell you my honest truth. Like honestly, anyone who is, I'm one of those guys. I'm no bullshit guy. I'll really tell you how it is. I've enjoyed it from day one, and like I said, it's probably been one of the most special years in terms of like I wake up every morning, I look forward to going to the field, shooting the shit with the guys, getting to work, and then having fun afterwards, man, until we got to go home. So it's really special in that sense, and I think people are really going to buy into that.
I love it. I love it. Justin, we don't want to keep you any longer. You've been awesome, obviously, second time on the show, and I'm sure it won't be the last with that new extension. We said it to Cody, but the combination of the offseason interviews might be the secret sauce to locking in a Grey Cup. So we can't break that tradition
Yeah,
now.
absolutely.
But before we end off here, any words for the fans of Montreal that are listening right now?
Biggest thing is like honestly, like I said, I appreciate you guys and appreciate all the support from the fans. At the end of the day, it's such a special atmosphere, man. Every single game we go to, fans cheering right over top of us, and like you said, we had an up and down year, but I feel like the fans were ride and die with us all year. And honestly, to us as players, it means the most to us, and we're gonna keep doing our most and working hard to make sure we can repeat this and bring a couple more championships to Montreal. So, like I said, I appreciate Montreal fans, and especially for bringing me into you guys' culture and accepting me for who I am.
Absolutely. My last message is go buy your tickets for the season opener. I don't know if you could buy your individual tickets yet, but we need to sell out, reveal the banner. Can't wait for that day. But Shayne, any final words here?
Oh man, once again, thanks for hopping on. Like Dawson said, it's definitely not gonna be the last time. It definitely won't be the last time we're talking to you, buddy. I appreciate it.
No, I better not be, boys. It's always a pleasure chatting with you guys. You guys are great dudes, and appreciate what you guys do too.
Awesome. Thanks, Justin.
Appreciate it, man.